Hi everyone, this is Juliana from the Fall 2019 EFWE team. So this video is going to talk about two main things that were left kind of unfinished, or that I noticed that were still an issue and that you could in this new semester kind of focus on fixing. So the first thing has to do with Start Terminal, and the second one has to do more with data that is sent to the trading account. So I'm going to log in as administrator to show you kind of the issues that we have with Start Terminal. So Start Terminal and the BPS management is supposed to open the MetaTrader application with a specific set of credentials, like the Forex account of the user, the credentials for that, the server, and that it uses, all of that. So the issue that we find is that when a terminal like this one is turned off, its status is off, and you turn it on, it shows that Start Terminal started, but it actually does not start. It only starts when you click on the Start button. And that's a problem because when you are already in Start, you can't click on it. So what you have to do is stop it and then click on the Start. But then that raises another problem, because the way that any of this is, like the start, pause, and stop is done, is that a command is written to stop in a file. And an expert advisor then reads that and closes the terminal. So if you did a stop right before you did a start, it would still be logged in as a command you need to do. So when you start it, it would close it immediately because you stopped it before. So the way I did it was that I removed the command JSON that was created. So I'm going to show you where these commands are. So I removed that so that I didn't have any commands in there. So it didn't close, it didn't pause, it didn't do anything. Sorry. And so what I'm thinking that has to be done is that whenever this is clicked, the Start Terminal function that is in effort that actually calls the Start Terminal that is in effort VPS. I think it's in the MT4 terminal controller. I think what the problem is that it is only getting called when the button is clicked on a click. So what should happen is it should also get started, I guess. This is the functionality when this status button is clicked. So you would have to work on also calling this when this is clicked. So if I go to the terminal folder for this address, so I connected to the remote here, and I went to a terminal and MQ5 files. There's two here. This one is red. It's created by the effort side, and this one is the one that is read by our managed terminal. No, this one is the one that's read, and this one is the one that managed terminal creates. So managed terminal is the one that reads these commands, and so when you close it, it would have this command in the top, and whenever you open it and managed terminal is running, it's supposed to be running when you open it so that you can pause, resume, do any of that. It would read this and see the date and time and that it wasn't implemented, and stop it so that it closes right when you open it. So that is the issue with that. And also you can't do it, you can only do it when you stop it, and then you would start it. Because if you do pause and then start it, that counts as a resume command, so it would just write a resume command into that file that I just showed you. So it wouldn't actually start anything. It would just resume something that supposedly already started. Okay, so that's the first issue. The second issue has to do with the data, how it's being shown in the trader account. So how the data is gotten is through a sync expert advisor that I use. So the data that is shown to the user right now is just the equity data. The other data, I have balance, I have deal, all of those have not been yet implemented. And there's going to be a video explaining more of Sync Expert, but what you need to know is just that that's the thing that runs and gets all the information from the MetaTrader and sends it to Effort, and Effort logs it into the database, and then the database displays the equity to a user. Like I'm going to show you right now. This is up on the website, so you can go check it out by yourself. The password is effort1234 in a trader account. So when there's a lot of data, it gets difficult because there's this huge space between them, and we have to account for that. We can't just be like, okay, we only use continuous data, because that's something we have to account for. So as we go along trying to include more data, it's trying to display everything on the same graph, but it should be able to, there's this tool we have that we should be able to move, so it doesn't all need to be at the same time on the screen. So it should not be like this. We have to expect that there's a lot of space between data, so we want to do the graph so that it accounts for that and doesn't try to make all the data points super small so that everything fits. So if you go ahead and do zoom in, you zoom in like this, you will see that it's just the data being scrunched in because it all has to fit in the same screen. And how we would want to display it on default is like this, like zoomed in. We want to see the data here on the bottom, maybe something like this, and then we want to be able to scroll using this functionality that we have to scroll and see the later data, right? So that's something that has to be fixed. We don't need to have everything on the same graph here, and that's a problem with the actual graph, not with the data that's being passed, because we have to account for widely spaced data. So these are my two things that I want to get done in the next semester, because the start terminal one is really important, because then if we don't have that fixed, it's difficult to start a terminal intuitively, and a lot of people maybe don't know about it. So when other teams come and try to use start terminal, they're not going to know stop it, then delete a common file, and then go back. So, I mean the command file, and then go back. And then this is important because this goes into an actual person's account, so they have to be able to, this is the main part of the whole application, to have all the data graphically displayed like this, and it has to be like it's supposed to be and look nice and not all scrunched up. So this is all for this video. I hope I provided maybe some idea of how these things can be fixed, and yeah, that's all.